How's it going, guys? Welcome back to our live stream for every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We're always live checking out what the Battle Box has to say about today and kind of just doing a little bit of TA for today. Hopefully you all had a good one yesterday after this stream. We went ahead and worked on some of the stream graphics yesterday, so as you can see, we got some new ones put up there. We'll probably keep updating them. They might look a little bit different as we go on, but this is more or less what we're going to kind of stick with for at least a little bit. But yeah, I mean, yesterday we had a pretty decent day after the live stream in the morning. A little breakdown. Not really much of an entry. I guess you could have gotten in here on this pullback here, but not really much of a pullback. Could be hard to tell if it was going to hold that resist or that support here. I guess it was resistance once we broke it, but it'd be hard to tell. And I believe that also the 15 never closed below. Yeah, so once we finally got that 15 closed below, we already had dropped quite a bit. And so really the only entry we kind of had is this little wick here. Not much of a wick all the way back up to the primary low, but if you had jumped in there, you could have held it really for 3 to 1 depending on where you put your stop, or pretty close to a 3 to 1. Still, that would have been hard to do. If you got into that, nice job. It's a decent trade. But if not, it's okay, because that was a pretty difficult little trade there, so we're not too worried about missing that one. If you want to kind of hear a little bit more about maybe the recap, we do have a video coming out at 10, so check that out. We'll kind of go over the trade yesterday and do a little more in detail of how the battle box was kind of looking at it there. Moving on, we'll kind of set up the battle box for today, I guess. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my object tree and turn off all of my different levels here. Kind of get started on setting up the battle box. First things first, we'll head on to our GPT and go ahead and generate today's market review. And if you've been here before, you know it's going to ask us for a couple of different time frames and stuff like that. So we'll have to get those on there. We'll have to get those uploaded, and then we got the FRVP levels that we'll have to upload as well, morning and the 24-hour. And then after that, we got the 30-minute range, and then we got some different screenshots and such to go with. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to head on over to cryptograph.com. So if you won't see it on the screen, but if you guys search up cryptograph.com, make sure you're on today's date over there on the left. And then we're just going to take a screenshot of the news events over on the right, and I'll show you guys what those look like here on the screen once it loads. There we go. So you can see we got some news events. Right now the government is shut down, so that some of the data is kind of off. If it says tentative over here on the side, that means that like what it says up here, they're subject to delay, revision, or cancellation. So that's something to be mindful of, I guess. Not most of the time, at least recently, it hasn't been anything that really matters that it's like that. So just something to be knowledgeable about, I guess. So at 11 we got President Lagarde speaking, so I don't even know where that is. Not something I'm too worried about. This one though, one, we got a medium impact, so the FOMC meeting here, something to kind of watch out for at 1, so like 2:30ish, 2:45ish to 1:15 130, that's kind of what we're going to be watching for. Maybe some volatility either way, but just some volatility. Time to kind of watch your trades, maybe get a little lighter, take some money off, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's kind of our news events for today. Go ahead and close that out. And then we're going to just get started, I guess. So we'll get those different time frames. We'll get our levels, and then we'll get some of the different events. We'll just write everything down. All right, so we'll head on back to that trade view. I'm going to start with our 4-hour, and we're just going to go through and get screenshots. The best way you can do this is kind of get the chart kind of like somewhat in the frame, and then go ahead over to the numbers here, like where the price, and just double click, and then I'll give you this little auto symbol down here, and that'll be kind of what we want on all the indicators. So we'll do the same thing, kind of get them a little bit in the frame, and then just double click. So then now that they're all lined up, you got all of your charts autoed out. We'll just go ahead and take a screenshot, and then we're just going to go down the line and do the same thing for all the different ones. And we'll just go back to our GPT and upload them one by one. You can do this a lot easier if you do have the quad view. So if you have a quad view, all you have to do is just put the different time frames on the chart. So 4-hour, 1 hour, 15, and 5 minute, get a quad view of those. And if you don't know what a quad view is, it's basically when you take 4 different screens and put them on one. So like we have this chart here right now. A quad view would be like this one chart, and then you got another chart, and then 4 different charts on the same screen with 4 different time frames. So that's, I guess they're technically all the same chart. They're all Bitcoin, but they're going to be 4 different time frames of Bitcoin. So they're all different charts in that way. All right, last one, we'll get that 5 minute on here. All right, now that we got all of our different levels uploaded here, we're going to go to the FRBP next. So these are pretty easy. It tells you the times right here. And even if it doesn't, for when you do it, you can just go ahead and ask it what are the different times that I need to set up, and it will let you know. Or you can even ask it like how exactly do I even do FRVP levels. It'll let you know as well. But I'm going to show right here on the video. So we're going to go back to trade view. And the easiest way to do this is go to the 1 hour. You're going to go to the left hand side where all your tools are. Go to the crosshair, and then go down 1, 2, 3, 4. Click over, and then in volume base, you're going to see the fixed range volume profile. You click on that. That'll be our FRVP level. And then we're going to go to the previous day, so the 7th at 7 o'clock in the morning. And then 7 o'clock this morning will be our next dot. So you just go ahead and click on it. And then you have something like this, and we'll go ahead and I already have my lines on here for the 24-hour. But it's what you can do is you can just hit Alt and J, and that'll give you one of these rays like what I have here, and then you can just go ahead and edit it however you'd like. If you need help with some of the tools, like a little bit more in depth, we do have some videos on our channel as well about getting more in depth on these kind of on how to actually use most of the tools over here on the left, or at least most of the ones we use. For the FRVP levels, you're going to put the volume area high on that red line. You're going to put the yellow one is going to be your POC, and then the blue one will be your volume area low. And you don't have to be super exact on it. So once you get them kind of lined up more or less correctly, then that's kind of where they'll stay. We always say on here that support and resistance are more of ranges. So even if you're like 100 or so off, it's still going to be pretty close to where you need to be. So, at least on Bitcoin. Obviously, if you're 100 or so off on like Solana or something, it's going to be a little off. But For Bitcoin, if you're 100 or so off, that's not barely anything on Bitcoin. So that's a good little range there. We're gonna go back to ChatGPT now, and what I'm gonna do on here is I'm gonna type in so different things. So then when once we get our levels, we can go ahead and just copy and paste them in here. So what I'll do is I'll type in FRVP levels, and then I'll go down to and say 24-hour, and then go down 2 more and say morning, just like that. And then under 24-hour, we'll type in volume area high, and we'll type in point of control. Oh, whoops. If you do accidentally send it like I just did, it's not a huge deal. It's just gonna load and then tell you it doesn't have everything. So you can just go ahead and like restart like I just did, and then kind of just keep typing stuff in. So we'll do volume area high, POC, and volume area low. And just if you're interested, the way to go down on like essentially like hit enter. If you hit enter on here, it actually send it. So that's like what just happened with me. But you want to hit shift and then enter, and that'll get you down to the next level without accidentally sending your stuff. Just make sure you have shift held down, otherwise what just happened to you will end up happening. You'll end up sending it in by accident. And then the last thing that I'm going to type on here before I head back is 30-minute candle. And I'm going to type high under that and then low under that one. Alright. Now that we got our essentially like little pattern set up here, we'll go ahead and put the different levels in here. So we got our 24-hour ones already. So we'll head back to trade view. We're just going to click on the line. So I'm going to start with volume area high. We'll click on the line, click settings, and then just copy them right from in here. If you are not already here, it's in coordinates, and then you'll go down to the price and just highlight it and copy it. If you right click, you can just press copy, or you can press Control C. Once you get it copied, we'll head back to trade view and we'll just paste them in here, and we're just going to go through the line just the same way. So click on it, settings, coordinates, copy it, and then head back and paste it. And what makes it really easy too is once you kind of do one, you can just go ahead and click settings, and then it should already be ready for you to just copy it right out of there. You don't have to like highlight all the number or anything. You just click on settings and click copy. It's nice and easy. Okay, so we got our different lines on there. Our 24-hour lines are ready. So we'll go ahead and close those off. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to take the FRBP level we already drew on here, and we're going to click on it again so you can see the little blue dots. And you should see one at the top, one at the bottom. And we're going to go to the first one that we put on here, so the one at 7 o'clock the previous day. And we're going to click it, and we're going to drag it to 3 o'clock today. 3 a.m. today, I guess, to be precise. And we're going to go ahead and turn on our morning levels again and drag and drop them. And all the times I'm saying are for Chicago time, so if you guys are on a different time zone, you can go ahead and alter it for those. But for me, it's gonna be the times that I'm talking about. So 7, 3, 7. All right, we got our different lines on here. At this point, you can kind of just delete this if you don't want it on your chart. We got all our levels ready up, so we'll just go ahead and click them, go to settings, same thing, copy them, and we're going to head back to our GPT and paste it in here. And we'll just do that for all of them. So back to trade view, next line, settings, copy it. And we'll just go down the line. All right, sweet. So we got our 24-hour ones on there. We got our morning ones on there. And then now we're going to do the 30-minute candle ones. These are nice and easy as well. We'll head to that 30-minute chart. And we're going to close off our lines for now. 30 minutes are all you have to do is hover over it, the 7:30 candle. So if you see down here at the bottom, there's a time and date right down at the bottom. And we're going to hover over the 7:31 for today, or your corresponding time, I guess, of 7:30. Hover over it. At the top, it'll say high and low, or an H and an L with a number next to it. You're going to it'll be right under where it says Kabroda on my screen. You're going to just hover over it, and then you're going to type those numbers in. So we got 112.701 for the high today. So 112. Well, it wasn't 112, was it? It was 122.701. 122.701. We'll head back to trade view. It's going to be 122.478. 122.478. Alright, so we got all of our different levels on there. The last thing that you could do is the 4-hour FRVP, or sorry, not 4-hour, we're going to weekly FRVP levels. Those are optional. If you want to know how to do those, you can ask the GPT. We're not going to cover it here on the live, but essentially it just gives you some more levels so you can be even more accurate as you're kind of doing your TA for the morning. But for now, we got the levels that we're going to use, so we're going to go ahead and send it in, and we'll kind of see what the battle box has to say about today. If you guys have never seen one of these before, essentially we'll just get the different time frames kind of set up. And that way you can kind of, if you're using it yourself, you'll have like a little TA for each time frame. For us, we'll kind of read off a little bit of TA, and then we'll kind of go over it, and I'll kind of do some TA on the 4-hour through the 5-minute. And we'll kind of just go down through them, and then we'll kind of go over some trades that are possibly going on today, kind of see what's happening. Ooh, excuse me. It looks like it's thinking quite a bit today, so we're going to have to take a little bit longer to do some of that, to wait for our FRVP. We are actually having like a decent uptrend lately, so we're expecting a little bit more of a breakdown. Just in general kind of thoughts, I think expecting a little bit more of a breakdown. Kind of, where was it? We were about here when we started getting some bullish or bearish div. So you can see price actions kind of has like or RSI kind of has like a downtrend here, whereas on the 4-hour you can see that there's a nice little uptrend here. So that typically means that you're about to see some sort of reversal, decent amount of reversal really. So we're getting an uptrend and then a downtrend on the RSI. Divergence, bearish for sure. It's not something you really want to see when you're hoping that it's going to continue up. So kind of at that topped out point, we're ready to kind of break down, at least get some breakdown, kind of sit around here, get some more momentum, and then continue upwards. So we'll kind of see what the price action is today, but it looks like the battle box is ready with our DMR. So we got the different time frames that I was talking about are right here, so you can see you got the time frames at the beginning, and then you got a little bit of a description, kind of TA on them. All 4 of them are in here. And then moving down, we got some different support levels. Below that, you got some different trade strategies that you might use throughout today. And we're going to kind of skip this section in the live, but we're going to do a battle plan after this, and that'll kind of cover this whole section even in more detail than this really does right here. Moving on from that, you can see we got the different news events that are going on today. That FOMC meeting has the high impact on it at 1 o'clock, and we already looked at that, but that's on here too if you're interested in checking that out. Below that, you got execution thing, just consideration, just kind of things to watch out for, things that might affect your trading for today. And then if you did put the weekly FOBP zones, they'll kind of come up right here. And then below that, you got some YAML levels, some levels that are easy to copy. You could throw on your chart if you want to have some more levels. Breakdown trigger, breakup trigger, kind of just things that are, if you're doing this a little bit, though, you'll kind of see them on there. But if you want to have some more lines in your chart, make it a little nicer looking, you go ahead and throw these on there. All right, we'll start off with the 4 hour. I'm going to kind of read it off, and then we'll kind of do a little bit of TA on here after that. So starting off with that 4, got a pullback with an uptrend. Price rebounds from the EMA stack and is hovering just above the 24-hour volume area high. We're going to go ahead and turn those back on too. So you got our different levels on. And you can see the 24-hour POC and the regular POC are right on top of each other. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my morning POC off so it's just nice and clean. You don't have like lines right on top of each other. We're attempting to hold the outside prior value. MACD momentum is still negative but improving. RSI is recovering from mid-zone. Nice. Okay, Spirit Maker said we broke a key level last night at 121,775, and that is now support. We're looking to hold 122,300 after the opening. So it looks like he's talking about we kind of came down here, broke that, and then we came back through it, and then now we're above it again. Above that 121,700 level, which is about right here somewhere. We're looking to hold that 1,222,300 level. So he's saying that we need to hold to that level here about the volume area low. So if we see that breakdown, we know that we're probably most likely going to continue down, break through that 121,700 again, and then continue on after that, probably at least to the volume area low here on the 24-hour or more. Overall, TA, we kind of had a couple decent uptrend like we were showing earlier. Had the bearish div. Now we're kind of getting that breakdown. So don't think the bearish div is played out yet. We'll see some more downside most likely. No like real patterns kind of going on here. And you could kind of say, I guess this is a mini cup and handle, but it's not anything that I would really be like looking at seriously, I guess. You got MACD momentum is starting to fade on the bearish side, as you can see. After we started that breakdown, we flipped to red, continued down for about 8 candles or so, and then now we're flipping back up to go to the upside. So you can see a little bit of pink here that shows that we're slowing down. Below that, you can see the RSI is still in a downtrend. We're only about 50% of the way down, even less than 50% really. Still more in that overbought area, so we still have a lot more room for the downtrend to continue. Stochages are actually the opposite way, but if you've been here before, you know we don't really use the stochages on these longer time frames like this. So really, not something I'd be worried about overall. Spirit Maker said that's if we're going to see a push to the upside in the next 2 to 3 hours. Yes. Yeah, so essentially he's kind of saying if we don't hold that volume area low, then that's when we'll go down. But obviously if we hold it and break above this volume area high, more than likely we'll continue to the upside, at least for a little bit of a push. Moving on, we'll head to that 1 hour. All right, so on the 1 hour, we got to bounce off the 200. Not a very good bounce, but we got this down here, kind of bounce off 200. Clustered EMAs overhead, so these 3 different EMAs are right over us, acting as local resistance into 123K up here. Momentum is curling up, but not confirmed. Alright, so you can see zooming out a little bit, we got a little bit of a downtrend here. And then we kind of actually broke into this sideways pattern here. We ended up breaking to the upside, which is not really what this pattern is supposed to do, but patterns only work about 60% of the time, most of the time. So you can see kind of got a break sideways, and then we broke up. The question is, are we going to hold this, or are we going to see fake out, breakout, and then we're going to break down, break below this 200, and continue down from there? It's kind of the question that we're kind of answering with our different levels here, with the volume area high and the volume area low. Depending on which way we see that break, we'll probably go either way. As of right now, we did break to the upside, so possible continuation is in play. Below that, on the indicators, we got the MACD started to show this bullish momentum here up into the 122.8 level of the volume area high, and then we kind of are starting to break off of that, starting to show some stamina drain, I guess, of the bulls. You're starting to see their loss of stamina. They're starting to slow down a little bit. Possibly to where we could flip bullish. We'll see. RSI, we actually kind of had some downtrend, and then we flipped into the night and started to kind of create more of an uptrend here. So we'll kind of see if we can continue that, or if we're going to kind of flatten out here at the 50 line on RSI and kind of flip down to the downside. Stoches are topped, and we're starting to see them curl down to the downside. Same thing as the 4 hour, though we don't really use the stoches on the longer time frames like this, 1 hour, 4 hour, that kind of thing. So overall, we're kind of waiting on this chart to see which way it will flip. To me, it looks more like that fake out breakout, but it is possible we'll see more of an uptrend here. Kind of got to read the charts, see what the TA actually tells us, and not just jump in. All right, so moving on to the 15-minute, we got an inside morning value of 122,322. Price is compressing under intraday resistance near 122.7 with fading histogram and balance. All right, so you can see we kind of had a breakup here. Looking on a little bit smaller time frames, I guess. Had a breakup here. Kind of made a little flag here, broke up, and there's the flag if you want to see it, something like that, and then a breakup. And now the question is, are we creating another flag here, or we kind of, is this all kind of a flag, I guess, too? It's a possibility as well, kind of all being a flag itself, break up even higher, or is this kind of the end of the trend here? Just looking at it overall, we do see some divergence here. So if you'll notice, we had a high and then a higher high here on the chart, whereas on the RSI we got a high and then a lower high, or I guess you could even say that's sideways. Either way, it is divergent, so we're seeing some bearish divergence here as well. That's something to watch out for. Typically it means we're going to get a downtrend. Is this the whole play out? I don't know. Maybe we'll see that, or maybe we'll continue down lower. We'll kind of have to play it by watching. Spearmaker says have to be more bullish with being above 21 and 200 on the 1 hour. Yeah, we are above those two. That is true, but we are below it on the 15 and above it on the 5, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. I could see that, but I'm not going to be, I don't know. That's something Could be more bullish because of that, but I don't know. We could still come down and retest the 200 at least. That would get us down to our volume area low here on the chart. So it's not, I wouldn't say we're out of the woods yet for sure. That's definitely a possibility here to come down and at least test that 200, if not go even farther. So we'll see. Like I said, though, we gotta kind of watch the different chart. We gotta watch the chart and see what happens here. We got a breakdown of the 21 here on the 15. You got RSI curling downwards. We're still in oversold, so we are up here. Still got a long way to go before we get down to where we could possibly curl over. Stoaches, which are more applicable here, are down at the bottom. You can see a breakup here, so maybe possible bullish indicator there. As for MACD, we got a really just bear driven. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. Typically see about 8 in each move, so still a decent amount of candles to go for the downtrend there. Spirit Maker says 1 hour could be flagged into the 21 because we are under the EMAs on the 1, 15, and 5. Yeah, I don't know. We could be doing a little flag here and then continue up. The hard part is like once you get down to that 1 hour 21 there, we're going to see a break of the major level, which is at 122.3 that you're talking about. And then that would be, and then the question is the 21 actually going to stop us or are we going to continue down? Have to see. Moving on to the 5 minute, we got tight. We'll wait for it to load for a second. Come on. There we go. All right. Moving on, we got, all right, 5 minute, we got tight micro flag under 122.7. The 5 minute will be a little bit off just based off, by the time we took the screenshots and until now, we are like a little bit later than we were then. Obviously, different times. So tight micro flag under 122.7, our 30-minute high. Execution time frame needs a clean push close to avoid chop. So for the 5 minute, you're seeing that we're below the 21. Typically, when you break the 521, you come back to the 200. So it's looking more and more likely like we're going to break this volume area low, just based on TA. You can see we're kind of losing some momentum here, and it's starting to make some of that smile, I guess you'd say, on the MACD. RSI wise, we are below the 50 line, and we're starting to lose some momentum. You could see that RSI is kind of like curling flat line almost, flat line to up really here on this candle. Stoaches are bottoms though, so we could see a decent bullish move up. If those continue to fire, you could really see it kind of sit down here too, but more than likely we'll see that fire up on the stoaches, which will mean we'll get a little bit of an up run here, at least on the 5 minutes, what we were looking at. So overall, we're still looking for more of that down run, just in general, but is it going to happen today? I don't really know. We'll have to kind of watch that TA, see what happens. It really just depends on like what the price action kind of looks like today. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to build a battle plan, or I'm going to have the AI build a battle plan. Thought I spelled builds wrong. And this will just help us kind of see the trades that it's thinking about today. Again, these are not for financial advice, but just to kind of help us make an educated decision on what we're looking at. It's going to kind of help us to see what out of our lines, which ones kind of matter more than others. Like if we're looking more at that volume area high, that volume area low, are we looking for price to kind of come down here and break this 24-hour POC before we maybe make a trade? This will kind of help us to kind of decide on that. So if you've never seen one of these before, first up we got the disclaimer. So this isn't financial advice, more just to help you make some, just help you be educated, I guess. Make sure you consult somebody before you make actual financial decisions. Somebody that's not us, somebody that's actually a financial advisor. So we're looking at this scenario A. We got a bull break, so we got a clean 15-minute close above that 122.8 level. So essentially that will be the morning volume area high. So it's kind of this level here that we're looking at. So if you get that break on the 15 and then that 5-minute retest, then we'll be looking at a trade upwards. The first target's going to be 123.324. So right about at the 15-minute 200. Once we hit that 15,200 level, that will be our first kind of target here. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a line there. Above that, we got another target. Really, the next target is kind of just this target up here. There's really not a lot to go off of. I guess you could say there's maybe a middle time target right here. But yeah, not a whole lot. So we're kind of looking at this 123.8 level, and then after that it's 124.8. So it kind of just depends on if we actually can break this 200 on the 15 at 123. Again, levels that once we put some levels on here like this, if you're in the trade, let's say we're taking it up, and you start to see some resistance here or see the price start to kind of drift back, it's always good just to pull it right there. That's kind of our target. So if we take it around there, that's always a good trade. Same thing for this level, and then obviously same thing for this one level as well. The third level, I would say, like, if we ever make it to the third level, that's just a automatic pull. At least for me, that's what I would do. Automatic pull, boom, I'm out. Typically, I even do that on the second target, just because I'd rather take some money than not. So if I can make it up here, I'll just take some money off. The next trade that we're kind of looking at is that bear breakdown. So if we get that close below the volume area low, which is looking pretty likely right now. So we'll look for that 15-minute close below, and then we're going to look at that 5-minute retest here of the volume very low, and then look at a trade downwards. We're going to be looking at getting in there with a stop, most likely above. So we'll throw it. Say we're going to take this. Obviously, we haven't got that 15-minute close yet, but say we took this, looking at that stop above here on above the volume area high. If it does break back through this volume area low, possibly through the POC here, morning POC / the volume area high of the 24-hour, we'd be looking at just jumping out early. But our first target is to be in that 24-hour POC right here at 121.416-ish, and then our next target below that will be that 126.30-ish area at the 24-hour volume area low. And then there's not really a third target, so I'd probably just pull it on that second one if it gets down to that point. The other trade you can kind of do is just kind of trade throughout the support and resistance here, kind of trade the ups, the downs. More than likely we'll get that break pretty soon here though, so I wouldn't be too worried about trading like that. But yeah, overall, Um, honestly, we are still looking for that down trade. We're looking, maybe not down trade. We're looking for that down run in the price. Kind of been calling for a while. There's still possibility it will go up. We'll could see some breakup today as well. Kind of see how it plays out here. Just make sure that you're trading smartly. If we are looking for a trade upward, just make sure you're careful with it. You're not trying to take a massive position or anything like that. Again, not financial advice. Um, just that's what I would kind of be looking at doing. But yeah, overall, that's kind of what we're looking at for today. Those levels will be coming out on X in here in a little bit. So if you're interested in kind of getting those levels on there, you can go ahead and go there and check them out, or you can check the description. We have a link to our battle box. You can test it out for yourself, see if you really like it or not. It is completely free to use, so check it out. And if you want to know some more information about it, you can go ahead and check it out on our YouTube channel. We do have some videos covering how to use the battle box, especially in more detail, how to use even just AI in general while you're using the battle box, how to talk to it, that kind of thing. So go ahead and check those out if you haven't already. And then we do have that video coming out at 10 if you're looking to get more of a little bit of a recap from yesterday, or even if you're just looking to learn a little bit more about trading. We always give out some good details in our recaps, so make sure you check that out as well. But other than that, happy trading to y'all, and we will see y'all tomorrow, I guess, at 8 a.m. So hopefully y'all have a good day. Don't get sucked into the market. I'll see you then.